So last night, if you're not aware, WrestleMania was on Easter Sunday, 420, also Hitler's birthday. There's all kinds of these codes, if you're aware, the metascript, as Tim Osmond likes to call it, of Infinite Plane, but that there's an overarching script running of things that are happening on the world stage. So this metascript, along with Trump, definitely ran by Vince McMahon, no doubt about it. Not necessarily just Vince McMahon, but Vince McMahon is definitely a part of the push, and he's definitely behind Donald Trump's campaign. Basically, all WrestleManias have been in the first week of April throughout almost all the time. Maybe the second week or leading into the 10th day or whatever. I think there was even one that was on a 3:30. Yeah, March 31st, April 7th, March 29th. So these are the dates of all these WrestleManias. So the last week of March, first week of April, continuously. We're at WrestleMania 41 now. So for 41 years, this is a once a year thing. They build up all year to the Super Bowl of wrestling, and they build up to this. And this year, mysteriously, they pushed it back to April 20th for some reason. So it's Hitler's birthday, Columbine Day. Ritual. It's a ritual, man. We're doing a ritual out here. But what they set up for this year was it was John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. And obviously you guys know who John Cena is. If you've never seen Cody Rhodes, though, you got to kind of see what he looks like. So they had a match. John Cena turned bad. And Cody Rhodes is this guy on the left. Now, his dad was like a wrestling legend. His dad's name was Dusty Rhodes. He was like literally like one legend. He was the guy, even in the Vince McMahon documentary, Vince McMahon said, if I couldn't sign Hulk Hogan to do the Hulkamania to push WWF at the time nationwide or whatever, his second backup choice was Dusty Rhodes, this guy's dad. We go to Cody Rhodes. His nickname is the American Nightmare. Now, there's all kinds of things I'll pull up in a minute that they say. Cody Rhodes is Homelander, the TV show Homelander. And they say Homelander is Trump. So this all connects to like Trump and everything that's happening and the Pope. So the whole idea of this match that they had last night was John Cena is to win his, as they call it, the world record 17th championship. Now, the reason they have the 17 there is to associate with Donald Trump and Q. Of course, Q, the 17th letter of the alphabet. Donald Trump, born 17 years before the assassination of JFK, RFK Jr.'s in his cabinet and everything, connected with the Kennedys. Vince McMahon's middle name is Kennedy, Vincent Kennedy McMahon. There's a huge connection between Kennedys. So let's go here. Ric Flair had more than 20 world title holds, 20 world titles, and WWE will only recognize 17 of them. They bought WCW and they own all the tape archives. So there's some that they don't count for whatever reason. So they say Ric Flair is a 16-time champion, but many people will say he had over 20 titles, because what he would do is he'd go in a town real quick without getting too into it. He'd just go into a town and wrestle their territory's champion. And sometimes when he'd go in there, he'd lose the title like on the first day to the tour. And then he'd wrestle that champion throughout that little territory, 3, 4, 5 towns. And then that champion would drop it back to him. And Ric Flair would go back to his territory with the belt. So those ones that didn't really air on TV, the WWE doesn't count those, even though it's real. But the whole reason they're doing this is because they want the number 17 on this. So what's happening is there's this date. It's like a marker. And they put this John Cena dude and this Cody Rhodes. They put all this shit on him to get, to have this, like, as EBT and I have said for a long time, covert messages through overt means. So anyway, last night, they turned Cena bad a month ago, 2 months ago. He fights this dude, Cody Rhodes, for the championship. He wins the championship thanks to interference with Travis Scott was involved. And before I continue, there's so much shit, I'm going to forget some of it, is you got to remember John Cena. If you know John Cena, what's John Cena's theme song? It's trumpets. The trumpets hit, and he comes out. That's the John Cena theme song. Do, 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 do. The horns. And it's a song called The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. It's a sample from a song called The Night the Lights Went Out in Georgia. That's what I believe one of the next things we'll see will be. You'll see some sort of blackouts. Not necessarily in Georgia, or maybe in Georgia. I'm not sure, but I think you'll see some types of like blackout situations happening. But so they had the other guy that was involved with this for whatever reason is the guy, Travis Scott. Travis Scott came and interfered in the main event because when they turned Cena bad, Cena basically came out and said he was going to join The Rock. His name is The Rock, and he's from Hawaii, and he was part of the Nation of Domination. when he was in wrestling, which is like a Nation of Islam type faction. So The Rock kind of also represents Barack Obama, but Cena joined The Rock, and Cena, you guys all know him as the Wigger back in the day. He was the Wigger, but then years ago they changed him to more of a Marine. He had the movie called The Marine, so he's more representative of Marines or armed forces. He comes out and he does the salute and all that shit now. He doesn't really do the rapping shit anymore. So Travis Scott, first when John Cena turned on Cody Rhodes, Travis Scott and The Rock and John Cena like whooped his ass. And as part of the story in the kayfabe story, well, actually not in kayfabe. They actually say kayfabe means part of the story, the official fiction, the storyline. But who knows how true this is because they blurred the lines with this. They say that when they attacked him here, that because Travis Scott's not like a fully trained wrestler, he busted Cody Rhodes' eardrum. So just like Donald Trump got the nick on the ear, Travis Scott busted Cody Rhodes' eardrum, like legit shoot, supposedly. So the black eye and the eardrum. I mean, it looks like a pretty stiff hit there. Fucking Travis Scott. So anyway, and then if you look up Travis Scott, one of the reasons he's involved is because currently he's 33 years old. He's 33 years old right here. And he has a daughter. His daughter's name is Stormy, just like Donald Trump, Stormy Daniels. And obviously his name, Travis Scott, is like Tavistock. I talked about that a long time ago too. Okay, yeah. So then we get into all this. So anyway, John Cena wins. So he wins the 17th title to signify whatever's going to happen. It's like, this is the time. That's why they pushed all the WrestleMania back, because shit's about to hit the fan. I believe this is what Donald Trump referred to as the storm is coming. And this is the marker in time that they had to let people know that the Marine, the number 17, is happening. But here's, and I'll play this in 1 second here. I just want to cue that up. And then we get into what happened today. Well, what happened? The Pope died at 88. Donald Trump's Biff Tannen from Back to the Future, the 88 miles per hour for the time traveling. Before I get to that one, I'll do one more thing here. Klaus Schwab also resigned today, and even though he's 87 years old, he says, as I enter my 88th years, this quote, he says he's going to step down. So he doesn't have to say the 88th. Right here, yeah. Schwab, who is entering his 88th year, informed the board of trustees he's going to step down after 55 years of service. So Klaus Schwab steps down the same day it comes out that J.D. Vance killed the Pope. So J.D. Vance was sent in with some Peter Thiel technology to do the Havana syndrome or something to the Pope, give him a brain aneurysm. But Pope's 7 hours after meeting J.D. Vance comes in, does whatever. This is what I'm saying. This marker is the storm is on now. So you're going to see stuff like this from now. I don't know for how long, but you're going to see a rapid increase of this types of thing. Klaus Schwab, you're going to see Fauci go down. You're going to see all these dominoes and players are going to go down in the coming weeks, maybe not even months, possibly like a short amount of time. That's going to be a lot of shit happening, I believe. And then that gets into obviously that Pope prophecy of Saint Malachi. Now this is disputed, and some people say it's not real. Honestly, it probably isn't real, but it's probably one of those things that they're using as like a self-fulfilling prophecy or predictive programming where they can come out, lay out the script of what they're going to do and how it's going to come down, just like 9/11 and all the other ones they did. So the Pope prophecy said that after a certain time, so there'd be 112 more popes, and they give kind of like little riddles of who they're going to be and what they're going to be. It says after that 112th one, which would be Pope Francis, and they call him Peter the Roman. He listed 109 remaining popes, and it ends with the last one. And there's one more line. It says, in the final persecution of the Holy Roman Church, there will reign Peter the Roman, who will feed his flock among many tribulations, after which the seven-hilled city will be destroyed, and the dreadful judge will judge the people. The end. That's what he says after Peter the Roman. So how did Cody Rhodes get to become the top guy of where he's at? In the last two WrestleManias before this, and WrestleMania 40 and 39, he fought this dude called Roman Reigns. Now, if you don't know who this guy is here, he's the cousin of the Rock, so he's directly involved with the Rock and everything. But his name's Roman Reigns, and we're talking about Peter the Roman, and it's the last pope. And you have Donald Trump. You have Donald Trump, the last president. And then what does John Cena say after he wins the championship here?
Cena accomplished that record. Are you feeling reminiscent about, being able to do this and set yourself apart from every person that's ever set foot in this company?
That seems like a clickbait question. I'm beginning to sense a pattern here that you guys are just looking for headlines. So I'll give you one. Tune into Monday Night Raw to see how I ruin wrestling. And keep in mind, you are now talking to the last real champion. Step your game up next time.
So his whole storyline here in kayfabe in the story is that he's going to be the last real champion. He's going to ruin wrestling. So he says he has 25 dates or whatever left on his contract. And that's not even matches, 25 dates. He's going to come out. He won the title. He says he's going to retire with the title. So the lineage of this title all the way to Bruno Sammartino, Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, all those people that have held that title. It's always the man that beat the man or whatever. He's going to wipe that out, take the belt, retire with it, and go home. And even admits, like, WWE is going to continue on. Monday Night Raw will continue on, but you're going to have to create a new championship and have an all new, reset. He even uses this word here. Let me pull this up. Also, Cena, the word Cena means supper in Spanish. So you're looking at the Last Supper. It's his last tour. Cena's out here in his last tour. And this is, I believe it's real. He's going to retire for real. These wrestlers keep wrestling like boxers forever and ever. This guy's got money for sure. He had an interesting quote on the ESPN one. Yeah, that's it. John Cena quote is going to make the WWE. He's going to make them start over. So it's just like Donald Trump and all these guys being, and everything's going to be a huge reset. So you're at this point where you're going to get whatever's going to happen. All these dominoes are going to fall in line and everything's going to reset. And Cena's out here saying he's going to make WWE reset. So this is kind of just more like predictive programming. I definitely think Vince McMahon is still buying, even though he got ousted from TKO, bought WWE from him, and he supposedly has zero involvement with it anymore and sold his stocks and all that. He still has the ear of these people that run the shit, and he's able to get this out because he works with Trump and to get these messages out, I believe. So John Cena's the Antichrist. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.